Hello guys, I hope you all are doing good. I am Vaishali Kikan and we are going to start a new topic in this video. So we are going to start the diffusion process. Okay, so we are going to understand the diffusion in the great detail in like 4 to 5 videos, and we are going to start this process from the very basics, and gradually we will be moving towards the advanced concepts of the diffusion process. Okay, so I hope you will be staying with me till the end of this playlist and you will be getting a lot of new information. Okay, so first of all, what is diffusion? We must understand the meaning of this word diffusion. Okay, we have already understand diffusion in the previous classes where we have already studied about the diffusion in solids, diffusion in liquids and the diffusion in gases. Okay, so let's take the example of all of the types of diffusion. First of all, diffusion in gases. Okay, let's assume I have a perfume bottle. If I open the perfume bottle, its smell will reach the other end of the room. Okay, when the food is cooking in your home, its smell reaches to you even if you are at the other end of the room. How it is reaching to you? With the help of the diffusion process in the gases. Okay, now coming to the diffusion in liquid. So let's take the example of the ink. So if I put the ink drops into the water, okay, so then this ink will spread throughout this water without any external energy or external force. So this is again happening with the process of diffusion. Now let's take the third example of the diffusion in solids. So in the diffusion in solid, let's take the example of the alloys. Okay, so if I have two metals that are very close to each other and if I supply heat to it, okay, so what will happen? The atom from this material will go towards this metal and this will be making the alloy. Okay, so the alloys are the result of the diffusion in solids. So I hope now you remember what is diffusion in liquid, diffusion in solid and the diffusion in gases. So some of you might be confused now that what does this word diffusion has to do with the VLSI technology. We have understood it in the basic classes, but now why we are studying it? Okay, so coming to the basic definition of diffusion. So for understanding the diffusion in the IC fabrication, you must understand that if I have the silicon without any doping, so this silicon will be having the higher resistivity. Okay, so if I have the same silicon and it is now p type or n type, then it will be having lesser resistance than this silicon which does not have any n type or p type material. Okay, so now if I want to change the electronic property of the silicon, how I can do that? With the help of the doping. And how I can do the doping? With the help of diffusion process. So I hope now you understood how the diffusion process is required in the IC fabrication or the VLSI industry. Okay, so it is the process by which impurities are introduced in the selected region of the semiconductor for the purpose of altering its electronic properties. Okay, so whenever I want to change the electronic properties of the semiconductor, like I want to make the semiconductor more resistive or less resistive, then I want to add some impurities. Now impurities here are n type or p type of atoms like the boron, phosphorus, arsenic. Okay, so I hope now you understood. I am adding boron, phosphorus, arsenic, which is impurity here. Okay, I am calling it impurity. Don't get confused why I am adding impurity. I am adding impurity myself to alter the electronic property of the silicon. Okay, so it allows the formation of source and drain in MOS devices. So if I want to work with the MOSFET devices, so it will be forming the source and drain. If I want to make the BJT, it will be forming the active regions of the BJT. So this is the reason diffusion is the most important process in the IC fabrication. Okay, now coming to the advantages of the diffusion process. Let me tell you, we can make the doped region with the help of diffusion as well as ion implantation process. Okay, we have already discussed about the ion implantation process. But now what is the advantage of diffusion over ion implantation? First of all, we don't have any kind of crystal damage. In the ion implantation, I have already told you that we have the crystal damage because I am hitting the substrate with the high energy ions. It can cause the damage over the surface of the silicon wafer that is undesirable, and now this is avoided in the diffusion process. It will be forming the high quality junctions because there is no high speed ion hitting this substrate. Now there will be minimum leakage current. So all of them are very good advantages of the diffusion process. Now diffusion is a mass flow process that I have already told you. In the example of solid, liquid or gases, we were having some mass which were flowing from one part to the another part. Okay, one position to the another position, the mass was flowing. So this is forming the diffusion process. So diffusion process is the mass flow process by which species change their position relative to their neighbors. Okay. So when I opened the perfume bottle, the species inside the perfume bottle changed their relative position relative to their neighbors. So they reached to the another end of the room from the bottle. So they were changing the position, also there is mass flow. So diffusion of an atom occurs from the region of higher concentration to the lower concentration. It is a usual phenomena, but don't understand it like the diffusion will be happening only from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. Diffusion might occur from the lower concentration to the higher concentration also, in the reverse direction also. So don't remember it like it will be happening only from higher to the lower concentration. It can occur in the reverse direction also. So more accurately, diffusion occurs down the potential gradient. Okay, so whenever we have potential gradient, then we will be having diffusion. It does not actually depends upon the concentration, depends actually upon the potential gradient. So like the same example is discussed here. So when a perfume bottle is opened at one end of the room, its smell reaches the other end via the diffusion of the molecules of the perfume. I hope now this is clear. Now coming to the process of diffusion, it is driven by the thermal energy which leads to the thermal vibration and also the atomic jump. So if I give higher and higher thermal energy, then the diffusion process will be faster. Okay, so when the food is hot, its smell reaches to the other end of the room as well, but when the same food is cold, its smell does not reaches to a far end of the room. Okay, so this is happening due to the thermal vibrations, because whenever we have high thermal energy, we will be having more thermal vibration, which means we will be having more atomic jumps. Okay, so now I can say it is a process which is driven by the thermal energy. The more and more the thermal energy, the more and more will be the rate of the diffusion. We are going to see it with the help of mathematical equations as well in some upcoming video. So in the absence of the gradient, when there is no gradient, what will happen? Some of you might be confused. There will be no diffusion happening, but no, diffusion will happen if there is no gradient. So in that case, what happens? There is no net mass transfer. Okay, so the atoms will move from this place to this place, and atom will move from this place to this place, but the mass transfer, the total net mass transfer will be zero. If one atom will move from this place to this place, one atom will move from this place to this place. So no net mass transfer will be there if I don't have any concentration gradient. But you can see that if I don't have any concentration or potential gradient, then also I have the diffusion process occurring. So diffusion process does not depends upon the potential gradient also. Even if the potential gradient is not there, you cannot say that diffusion process will stop altogether. Okay, it will not. There will be diffusion, but no net mass flow will be there. So the process of junction formation, that is the transition from the p-type to n-type or vice versa, is typically accomplished by the process of diffusing appropriate amount of dopant in a high temperature furnace. I am going to discuss about the furnace also in detail in some upcoming videos. So you are going to see what are the different kind of furnaces that we have for the diffusion process. Okay. So I have already told you it is a high temperature process. The temperature will be giving the high rate to the diffusion process. So now when I want to make different types of junctions, it depends upon the type of impurity. So like let's suppose I have boron. Boron will be forming the P type of junction. If I have phosphorus, phosphorus will be forming the N type of junction. So if I want P or N type of junction, I have to use the particular kind of impurity. So impurity atoms are introduced onto the surface of the silicon wafer and then we increase the heat. Okay, so when we increase the heat, then this impurity will go and penetrate inside the wafer, and this is how we are forming the doped region. Okay, so now it will diffuse when I am giving the high temperature into the lattice because of their tendency to move from the region of higher to the lower concentration. On the surface, if I have placed the impurity, then on the surface I have higher concentration of the impurity than inside the surface. So the impurity will move inside the surface with the help of the higher temperature. So this is the process of diffusion in the IC fabrication. So I hope now you understood it. So what is the temperature requirement? It is around 900 to 1100 degrees Celsius. Okay, so diffusion of impurity atoms into the silicon crystal take place only at the elevated temperature around 900 to 1100 degrees Celsius. Now there are three methods for the PN junction formation. Whenever we want to make P or N type of junction, then we will be using the Groen junction technique, the alloyed junction technique, or the impurity diffusion process. So this is the third process that we are focusing upon, that is impurity diffusion process. Now you can see from the figure what is the process of diffusion in the case of solid. So initially this is my copper atom. So this is the pink copper atom and this is my nickel atoms. Okay, so initially till this point, till the center, we have 100% copper in this region and 100% nickel in this region. Okay, so now after some time what will happen? Here you can see in this region we have higher concentration of copper atom and in this region we have zero copper atom, which means very low concentration of the copper atom. So what will happen? After some time the copper will move from its higher concentration to the lower concentration. So some copper atoms reached inside the nickel atom with the help of the process of the diffusion. So here you can see at the junction the concentration is decreasing from 100 and here at inside the nickel the concentration is increasing from the 0. Okay, so similarly in the same manner we will be having the nickel atoms. Here the concentration of the nickel atom is 100, but after some time because of the diffusion process the nickel from its higher concentration will move towards the lower concentration. So this nickel atom will be moving here and here at the junction, its concentration will reduce from 100% and here inside the copper its concentration will increase from the 0%. So I hope now you understood this graph very clearly. Now coming to the nature of diffusion, or we can call it the model of diffusion. So we have first substitutional diffusion. So substitutional diffusion means we have some substitutional sites. So whenever we have silicon will be having various atoms of silicon placed inside its structure. Okay, so now whenever we have various atoms, sometimes due to some various unusual phenomena, what can happen? Some of these atoms might get displaced from its original position. When there is no atom at its original position, we have some vacancy created due to the removal of the actual atom from its original position. Okay, so this will cause the substitutional vacancy. Okay, so now substitutional diffusion applies only to the scenario where we have the substitutional vacancies, wherever we have any atoms which is removed from its original position, creating a substitutional vacancy. It applies to the substitutional impurities atom exchange with the vacancies that are created. Okay, so whenever we have any vacancy, instead of silicon atom, what can happen? The impurity can go and acquire that vacancy. This is substitutional diffusion. Now, what is the rate? The rate of the diffusion depends upon the two factors. First is how many number of vacancies are there. If I have more vacancy, which means more atoms can come and occupy that position, which means I have more rate of diffusion. Now, coming to the next parameter, which is activation energy. If I have more activation energy, which means more atoms can jump from its original position, which means it can create more vacancy, which means more rate of diffusion. So activation energy and number of vacancies are the parameters upon which the substitutional diffusion will be depending upon. So how I can represent the probability of an atomic jump? So the probability is directly proportional to the probability that the site is vacant, or the number of vacancies multiplied by the probability that the atom is having sufficient energy to jump from its original location. That is the activation energy. So actual probability for atomic jump is proportional to the multiplication of number of vacancy and the activation energy. Now coming to the representation. So here you can see we have the copper atom and the nickel atom. So I hope you remember the previous diagram that I had shown you. So in some scenario, it might happen that one nickel atom, due to its high activation energy, it will jump out from its original position, and in outcome what it is creating? It is creating a substitutional vacancy. Okay, so now here we have the vacancy in place of nickel. Now what can happen? Because here I have high copper atom concentration, this copper atom can move here to this vacancy due to the concentration gradient. Okay, so now when this jump here, at its own position it has created a vacancy. Okay, so now this atom will jump here due to the thermal vibrations. Okay, so now at its own position it has created a vacancy, and now nickel can jump here, and this is how diffusion will be becoming faster if I have more and more number of substitutional vacancies. Now coming to the interstitial diffusion. Interstitial diffusion is the diffusion that is occurring in the interstitial site. Now what is the interstitial site? Whenever we have the silicon atom, we have various atoms of the silicon. Now if I have circular atom of the silicon, we have various gaps in between various atoms of the silicon. So now what can happen? This impurity will come and occupy this gap location. Okay, so this is the interstitial diffusion. It is applied to the interstitial impurities. Okay, so whenever we have more vacancy diffusion, then the interstitial diffusion will be faster. So what happens? Usually the solubility of the interstitial atoms is small. Why? Because interstitial sites are already vacant. We don't need to make a vacancy for them. So interstitial sites will always be there. Okay, so even if the atom want to make the jump, there will be most likely possibility that the neighboring site will be vacant. Okay, so now whenever we have light atoms like the hydrogen, it can easily go and occupy the interstitial site. Okay, so now what happens? Due to the interstitial diffusion, we can sometimes cause the vacancy as well, and whenever we have light atom, it can directly go and occupy the interstitial sites which are already present there. But in the case of substitutional diffusion, we had to create the vacancy, then only after that the impurity atom will be occupying that vacancy. Okay, so which one is faster? The interstitial diffusion is faster, because here we have already the gaps present. We don't need to create them. Okay, so here you can see this is the atoms of the silicon, and now the black atom is the hydrogen atom which is going inside the gap. So this is the interstitial diffusion. Now in the figure we have shown the jumping of the smaller atom, that is the gray atom, from one interstitial site to another in the BCC structure. I hope you remember the BCC structure. I have already discussed about it in the previous video. If you have still not watched it, you can go to the previous videos where I have discussed about the various crystalline structure of the silicon. Okay, so now the interstitial site considered here are at the midpoint along the unit cell edges. So this term unit cell, you can get this term from that video only. So it is highly recommended that you go and you see the playlist and where I was discussing about the interstitial sites and BCC structure and the unit cell and the edges, you must watch that. So interstitial substitutional diffusion, okay, it is the combination of interstitial diffusion and the substitutional diffusion. So it is the next type of diffusion. Now coming to the interstitiality diffusion. So it is actually the modified substitutional diffusion. Okay, what happens in the substitutional diffusion? What happens? The atom will come and occupy the vacant site. So this is the black atom that is occupying my vacant site. So what happens? This is the red atom, that was the original atom which was creating the vacancy. So when this black atom has occupied the position of the red atom, so what can happen? This red atom can hit the black atom. It wants to come back to its original location, so in place. So what happens? So when this red atom hit this black atom can again hit this black atom which is present in the interstitial site or the gap. So now when this black atom is hit, it can again hit the red atom and it can create a vacancy. So again this process will repeat, and this is the interstitiality diffusion. So host atom can be annihilated by pushing substitutionally located atom into the interstitial sites and impurity diffuse to the substitutional site. It is actually faster than the substitutional diffusion. So this is a more important type of diffusion than the substitutional diffusion. So now then we can have interchange diffusion as well, in which two atoms are interchanging with each other. Okay, then we have grain boundary diffusion, then we have some combinational effects as well. Okay, so we are going to talk about the diffusion process in detail in the upcoming video. So if you have any doubt, you can refer these books. These are really amazing books, or you can put the doubt in the comment. I will be happy to help you. I will be trying to resolve your doubt as soon as possible. I hope you like this session. If you like it, please push the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also do share it with your friends. Thank you so much.